Well, good morning, guys. It's the next day after the Lather games. So I'm going to get back to my normal broadcast schedule where I have a bit of a delay because that gives me a little bit more time to create the write-ups, things like that. This takes off a little bit of the pressure. Today we got something interesting. Two of the things that we have, I got in during the Lather games, and I wasn't really able to use them. But this guy I did use during the Lather games, Carnivus and Richardson, aluminum handle, pretty solid billet here. It's got some good weight to it, and this is a B4 knot from Declaration Grooming. As you can probably tell if you don't know, if you are familiar with these knots, that one has been soaking. The tips were kind of starting to get a little soft there. Now, what I got 2 days ago that I couldn't use while I was in the Lather games was this soap from Mammoth. It was a new release, and I was able to get in on the recent drop just by being really fast on the computer and getting lucky. Santal Noir. So I'm looking forward to smelling that guy. You can definitely tell some kind of typical noir type scents. Different Mammoth container, and I think Ben said that he was having supply problems due to COVID and getting his normal type of container. I think that was what he was alluding to. I'm not detecting tons of sandalwood, or maybe it's just a little on the mild side. The elephant in the room is an English idiom, American at least, that talks about that refers to something that is that nobody's really talking about, but is a really big issue. And Mammoth donates some from every sale to a anti-human trafficking charity. And so that's one of the things that he does, and that's the reason for his logo. You can also see the APR type logo because the scent people that created the scent is Australian Private Reserve, and the Mammoth provided the soap base and APR provided the scent. I can smell the sandalwood in there. It's not super dominant. It's a half step behind the noir type scents. That's how it's from the dry puck. Let's see how it smells once we lather it up. Now, we're going to step through some blades. This is the Wizamet Super Iridium Extra Stainless, I believe is what the XS. I think these are the blue and gray boxes, not the brown ones. And they look just like a pole silver. Some people claim they're the same. I think they do shave similarly, but they may be different. This one doesn't have too many uses. Looks like this will be the 10th shave. Now, here's something a little bit on the exotic side. This is a Tech. It's got kind of the fat handle of the vintage Gillette Techs. But if you look at the thinness of the base plate, it kind of has the similar top cap as to many of the normal Techs that we're familiar with. And you can see how it is a little fatter connection right there than the usual fat handle Techs. So it's very thin right there, almost like something that was designed not as much longevity as some of the past Techs that we're familiar with. Then when you look inside, number one, it's got a hole right here. The other fat handle Techs are covered right there. Well, that's because this is what we call a Psychotech. It comes with, or it needs a key This is an aftermarket key, not the original, because there's a recessed nut that maybe you were able to see before. And this is basically an Allen socket that reaches up and turns that nut. And then the top cap is able to be removed. Some of the top caps apparently were made out of Zamac. I don't know what I have here. It kind of has a Zamac look to it, but it looks in great condition. It's got the 4 posts in the corners to keep the blade aligned properly. And here's that base plate again, quite thin, and it's firm. It's attached to the handle here. So this guy can be easily removed. You can't see through it because of the nut that's involved there. It's very head heavy because of the hollowness right here. Now, why would we need all those kinds of attributes? Why do we need a special wrench to be able to use it? Well, if you haven't figured out by now, the name Psycho. These were razors, as I put the blade in there. These were razors that were meant to be used in hospitals, maybe prisons, or tighten it up there, in mental health facilities, insane asylums, that sort of thing. And if you think about it for very long at all, you'll see why. It's because the staff could insert a blade, use the key to tighten everything down, and then give these to the inmates or patients or whoever, and then they would not be able to extract the blade and be able to hurt themselves or somebody else because they didn't have the key. And so then these would be returned back to the service professional, and the blades could be switched or taken out or rinsed or whatever. So that's a Psychotech. Looking forward to using it. My model is a B. It's a B3. So if you look up on the internet with the Gillette date codes, we can find out what year that is. I'll try to do that before I post this shave so that you can know without looking. All right, very good. I'm gonna get my face wet and we'll start loading up this soap. My first use of this brush had me hoping that the backbone would relax a little bit. All right, let's do a 30-second load. 45 is right there, so we can load until we hit 15 on my counter. I have 2 other Mammoth soaps. One of them I used during the Lather games, and I'm really happy with the soap base. Performs really well. Now this is a new base. This one is called Tusk. So we'll get to experience that as well. And that's 30 seconds. Nice looking kind of early lather on there. Of course, you never can call it by the way the lather looks on your brush right after the load. Rinse off the side of the threads of the tub there. So in a way, this is going to be a totally new soap. Yeah, some of those noir type scents are coming right up off the lather immediately. I believe I have soft water at this location. I don't see any hardened water deposits on like shower heads and things like that. Put a teaspoon in. It's working out pretty nice. That water got absorbed pretty nicely. Another teaspoon. Don't know what to expect from the base in terms of the structure of it. Could it be like reserve, where it stays kind of low, almost glue-like? Definitely doesn't seem to be puffing up like a high structure lather. It's not a strong scented lather. Three teaspoons. I'm going to create a survey and link to it from the videos and from my Sugar Daddy Shaves website, sugardaddyShaves.com. Now that I'm putting the acid on pause since I reached 300. Yep, he continues to look terrific. A little bit firm there. See how he does move slowly, but he still kind of supports his own weight. Everybody else is going to be overloading this soap, so in their demos and stuff. So why don't I try to push it a little bit? So I'll create a blade survey, and then maybe you guys can get there and vote on what blades you'd like to see, since I've been locked into that Nasset blade for a few months in preparation for the arrival at 300. There we go. Look at that. That's nice. Nice. All right, I'm gonna stop adding water. I bet it can actually take some more. I can feel the viscosity in the brush. So that's 4 teaspoons. Let's push 5 into it and just see what happens. Yep, I don't think I hurt it at all by pushing in that extra teaspoon. So I think we've got a pretty good mix. I'm liking the handle and the ergonomics on this brush. It's a little bit slippery right now, and it still gives me a pretty good grip without feeling like a real chore. I bet this lather could actually take some more water, but let's roll on and go with the shave. Get some water on my face now. All right. Well, with a brush like that has super soft tips, like a B5 or a B4 like this, it's going to make about any lather feel good, but this does feel very nice. Now, one of the things that sometimes happen, because I've got an oily skin, and so because I did not pre-wash my face, the oils are going to kind of dissipate the lather a little bit. And one thing we can expect is that the center will start to kind of clear of lather. but usually that means the outside has it. So then we can switch to a painting type motion, then go back to the scrub. Definitely looks like it could take more water if I wanted it to. So that's a really nice soap base. Got a very good creamy feel. Maybe like many of the artisans, he is adding some post-shave items to help with skin moisturization. Not a big deal for me. If you, especially the dry skin folks really like it. Yeah, that's really nice and slick. Even just that little bit that had fallen on my shirt. Creaminess to it. We do have some micro bubbles going on, but not a big deal at all. It doesn't feel very airy, you know, at all. It feels nice and creamy. Sorry about the noise. All right, let's get this Psycho Wizamet, Psycho Tech with a Wizamet blade in it. 24 hours. Oh, that is comfortable. I did notice as I was just kind of looking at the razor that it seemed to be getting a very nice grip on the blade from the bottom as well as the top, and so my guess was that it was going to be a terrific shaver. Maybe even better than the, as in smoother than the normal Techs. And so it has a milder feel. But the cutting I'm feeling, I'm going to guess, is going to be very nice. I should get a nice close shave. This is a wonderful shave. Man, the inmates and folks in the nut house were getting good quality shaves. So the scent strength is kind of low on this soap. It is available, it's there. I'm going to put it at about a 4 out of 10 for my nose. My skin during the rinses felt amazing. Partly because the razor had just given me such a nice cut on just one pass. But also because of the very smooth, silky soap base we have. So I'm going to definitely switch to the cross grain now, which on my face right here is a cross from left to right or right to left. Definitely used to tugging because of that nasset. Not getting any here. Put a little bit of extra lather right there. I should have the closest shave I've had in months with a nice fresh blade. It's one of those faucets where I just never know when I'm going to hit the turbo mode. All right, a little quick rinse. And last pass. Looks like 30 seconds was pretty good quantity to go for. I'm going to end up with a few more passes that I need, so I could reduce that some. Wonderful soft brush, really happy with it. It's eased up a little bit. Plenty of lather left for, you know, 3 passes. So yeah, I could definitely back down the loading. And now this is likely to be just a smooth pass here, with the first 2 just being so effective. Cross grain in the other direction down here helps me to get the closest right there. And there we go. Lather is just feeling great. The secondary slickness is pretty good. If you were careful, kind of felt around. One thing you can do to kind of test things out, get your hand wet and put it on your face and see what happens. Kind of reactivates just a little bit of the lather. I could definitely go back and do some touch-ups now if I wanted without re-lathering, because I can feel that slickness with my hands. All right, full rinse time. For my preferences, I believe I nailed this lather pretty much perfectly. The consistency is well hydrated, but still quite creamy, luxurious feeling for sure. This is an excellent soap base as far as I can tell. Really happy with it. It felt pretty firm, so it doesn't seem like it's going to be one that goes away quickly, that gets used up quickly. For the post shave, got the Nivea Deep Comforting. Got kind of a vanilla and spices and different things vibe to it. Seems like it'll match pretty well. I am still smelling the soap on my face, so it looks like it'll hang around for a little bit. If you wanted to use a neutral or unscented balm, there we go. So yeah, the sandalwood is definitely taking a back seat to the noir type notes. So I think this is geared for someone who definitely likes the noir type scent. Just wants a little hint of the woodiness, a little hint of sandalwood to come along with it, kind of in the background or at the base. So I, the inmate, have now finished my shave, and I take this back to the hospital personnel who has the key. I was reading it's in the 50s and 60s that this was kind of used in circulation in the facilities. At first, you would buy, because it was a facility that was doing it. At first, they would provide 10 or so razors with one key, which makes sense for a hospital type situation. But then later on, they did start providing one key per razor. And so in some cases, the key is more valuable than the razor itself because it's more rare. But apparently, they are making aftermarket keys for those 9 out of 10 people who may not have a key with theirs. Amazing shave. Really, really happy with the shave. Well, I'm really enjoying this B4. The backbone was a little on the relaxed side this time. Maybe I let it soak for longer than I was able to when I used it before. The handle is really nice looking, but I am finding it nice and ergonomic. I can have this 3-fingered grip like this, or I can, where I get nice good leverage by putting my pointy finger up there, or I can keep everything down here, and there's enough length in the base here to provide a nice secure grip. I've had to receive and then pass on a couple of Carnivus and Richardson handles because the ergonomics just didn't fit me very well. So I'm really happy about this one. All right, guys, that's my shave. I definitely look forward to more uses with this Psychotech. It's wonderful, wonderful, mild in terms of feel. But a nice close cut. I do have a little bit of length right here that I might want to attack with some different angled strokes and that kind of thing. So there's still a few hairs showing, just a little bit of length, but still almost baby butt smooth on my cheeks without even going against the grain. So a wonderful, just another great Gillette tech to enjoy from years past. Going to be wonderful using and enjoying that. All right, well, that's it for me today. Santal Noir is a big soap right now because of the recent release, so I may actually release this one sometime today and let the delay happen another time, just so folks could see it in action. The soap base is just, my first impression is that it's amazing. The lather seemed a nice mid-range of not being gluey but not puffing up. It looked beautiful. It had a sheen to it. I was able to push 5 teaspoons of water into the 30-second load. And so if you have a brush like this one, then that might be a good ratio for you to start with if you like your lathers like I like mine. If it is a scrubbier brush, maybe lessen the load time a little bit, you know, the routine. All right, I'm a happy shaver. That was a good time. We'll look forward to playing around more with different blades in the future. I will put up that survey hopefully sometime today. Go ahead and remind me in the comments. If you don't see a link in the description, I'll try to put it kind of right up at the top there, as well as on my website. Thanks, guys. I sure hope there's been something in this video that has helped, that's going to help you. You take care. Have a good day. This is Sugar Daddy Shaves. Bye.